Good morning and welcome to Fire in the Belly. Today we have a little boardroom talk and we're joined with Joan McDaid, and Joan is now a new author of a new book coming out. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, Pete. Thank you for having me on.
Listen, it's absolutely awesome to have you on. Thank you. So give us an overview. Who are you? What do you do? And give us a bit of an introduction to the book, if you would, please.
So I'm Joan McDaid, as you said. I'm originally from County Fermanagh in Northern Ireland, but currently living in beautiful Donegal. I am a wife, a mummy to two lovely kids, 9 and 5, and my day job is I'm a social worker professionally in the Western Trust. I'm also the CEO of a life mentoring, life coaching business called Connect Prosperity. I am a Reiki practitioner, reflexologist. So a couple of wee things going on in life, and now an author. So I'm very excited about that.
You're a very, very busy woman. I mean, fair play to you. There's obviously a lot going on. You're obviously a high achiever, so well done. So give us a bit of an introduction to the book then.
So I was really lucky to be picked for this book to sort of tell my journey, the change that happened in me. So the book for me was talking about a period of about a year and a half in my life when I thought I was doing pretty good, thinking about turning 40, but actually maybe that was just a very outward thing, where actually in reality, it wasn't the fact that I was turning 40. I was just starting to think, oh gosh, is this really till I retire? My retirement age is looking like it's around 70 somewhere. And then there started to be a wee bit of a panic and going, can I really do this for another 30 years? Because life had become very much about working, paying bills, which obviously it is, and those are very important things, but the balance had gone wrong. And I suppose I was looking at my life going, well, we have our house and we have the husband and have the kids and I have this good job and I've done well in my career. But I was kind of going, actually don't really feel 100% fulfilled with it all. They're wonderful in their own right, but it wasn't this 100% feeling of fulfillment. And I think it was more just because it was that humdrum of life, knowing that there was more out there. So I suppose I went on a journey of self-discovery and undertook a coaching program with Kim Calvert and Dynamite Lifestyle. And I suppose that for me opened up, I suppose, a world of other possibilities and a routine that I have added into my life that has helped balance my life a wee bit and helped me to think about what my priorities actually are. So I suppose I talk about that journey and where that has left me now in the book. And in that, then I give a couple of my top sort of a few tips that I've taken away from that.
Well, that's fantastic. So, I mean, the book is called BeLIFE or BeLIEf, and and you've taken, and I think so many people are going to resonate with that, is actually getting to a stage when you're scratching your head, as you say, is going, is this it for the next 30 odd years? And I suppose when you, do you get to the stage when are you questioning your potential or your why? Is that what you're questioning?
I suppose really I was questioning almost my value base. I suppose I had been led to believe or been brought up to believe that, a good job is a really important thing. And I had that. And, having enough to get by is good. But actually, when I realised that I had the good job and I just had a promotion, it felt a bit empty. There wasn't this other sense of fulfillment. And I suppose the fear was probably for me, Pete, a bit about if I feel this at 40 and I keep doing this for the next 30 years, how actually am I going to feel when I'm retired? And also, can I work till I'm 70? Which is what my projected retirement age is according to the pension people.
Isn't it mad? I mean, that's the thing. I suppose if you, and you take off your 20s, say, give or take, so you've 20 years of a career done as such, a
Yeah.
professional life per se. And as you say, then you're not even halfway through that, but if you're sort of scratching your head at that point, and I don't think you're alone. I mean, call it a midlife crisis, call it midlife opportunity, call it just a point of questioning. It's I think there's a lot of people out there that are maybe having that same thought process. So fair play to you. So what sort of topics have you covered in the book then?
Well, for me, I started to cover topics such as kind of perception. I always had this sense of that I needed to know everything, and I was this sort of chronicle of knowledge. But that really was, I suppose, almost, I call that a prison. I was in this prison of my own making, which was a really lonely place to be. And the more I realized that I knew very little, the more that those prison walls started to fall down. So that almost realization of that was very powerful for me, and that actually I didn't need to know everything, and it was not a really very nice place to be when you lived in that world. So that was a big one, and understanding a wee bit more about perception and views, and I didn't always have to be right. So my husband really enjoys that. That's now that I don't always have to be right. Then there was also the bit for me, actually, that realization of I had become very orientated around probably things and money. And that realization of actually the abundance I had in my life that I was taking for granted. So the change in me to recognize how much I actually had, instead of always living in not having or striving to have more and hoping that by buying something that would fulfill that hole that I was feeling, which it so very clearly didn't. But, the things kept arriving in the post, and the hole kind of kept getting bigger. So you would have to move on to, well, what would the next thing be? So that was also a very powerful realization, that actually I was trying to fulfill something in my life with things that didn't mean anything. And actually, the more that I was doing that, the worse I was feeling. And then also for me, there was bits about my routine that I changed for me. And, I have a very busy mind. You said earlier on, I'm busy. I am a busy person, but I also have a really busy mind that goes all of the time. So for me, it was learning to quiet that mind and doing that through meditation. So I would have always been the person that said, oh, I can't meditate. But I've also realized, be kind to myself. Some days my mind will be busy and it won't stop. And then some days it will be some of the most powerful, 20, 30 minutes I will have of the day, where I have these ideas and thoughts that come to me, not because I'm thinking about them, but because I've quieted my mind and I've started to listen to actually what my inner voice, so that has been a really powerful piece, and also probably a really good piece, because it helps me be calmer in my life as well as just in my mind, but actually genuinely a much calmer person to be around, probably, and a much easier person to be around, I think.
That's awesome. I mean, listen, I think so many people are going to resonate with that, So talk to us about the process. Did you enjoy it? Was it an easy process for you to actually write it all out, and something that you enjoyed?
No, I would say that I thought, this will be grand. There'll be no problem doing it. And then I found myself moving back into space as I was going through it. Of those early days, that very, poor self-worth, feeling of being low and lost. So there was almost a wee bit of a journey back into that process, but not allowing myself to go there. I suppose some of the skills I'd learned was just acknowledging that's how I was feeling and leaving that there. So the process was more difficult than I thought it was going to be on an emotional level. And also, I would say even, the first time I read it to my husband, I was kind of like, that's a wee bit sad, isn't it? There was a wee bit of sadness tinged that I had got to that stage in my life where I had felt so worthless in my own self. So, but they came out with a very positive piece because that has changed around. So, and it was good to revisit that, to say I don't ever want to go there again.
And that is where the power is. I mean, because the book is about empowerment, the book is about transformation, and it is a journey. It's taking people from, as you say, where you were at in terms of scratching your head and wondering and all the rest and low values to, where you are today, and the sort of the things that you have coming up in your life. So that's a massive thing for people to take away, and hopefully, I know sharing your story will help others. So it's, why did you want to actually write? Is it just, did you feel it was the right time for you, or?
I suppose it's one of those strange things. I was watching an event called The Science of Getting Rich, run by the Procter & Gamble Institute, and I had actually been meditating, Pete. So I on the Sunday morning, and it came to me that I would love to be a best-selling author. So I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And then the opportunity came up a couple of weeks later, and I was chosen for this book. And I thought, this is the right time. I've been on a journey. This has been a really powerful journey. We were still very much in lockdown at that stage, and I had been using gratitude really to try and boost the spirits of myself and my team at work and also at home, to say, we're so lucky. We still have so much, and there's lots of people who don't. So, we have so much in this world to be grateful for. And I thought, actually, people might need to hear that story. People might need to, I suppose, start to think about things from the other side of the coin, and the power of gratitude in your life. So for me, I thought, maybe there's some other lady or man sitting out there going, God, is this what I've been working to? And I suppose if I can help that one person think there is maybe another way, or there is something you can do to fulfill your life purpose, or to even understand what that is, then I suppose this will be worthwhile. Telling my story will be worthwhile.
And who do you think, who do you think is going to, be best served by reading this, and who's the message aimed at?
Well, the message is aimed at anybody who is kind of questioning where they're at in their life. Whether that be you've come to a midlife shift, whether that be you have been let go from your job and you don't know where you're going to go from now, or maybe a relationship's ended, or even for somebody who doesn't know what they want out of life. If you don't know who you are, you can fall into things, but when you know who you are, you will know in your heart what's right for you. So if you know where you're aiming, you can know how to get there. You can do the little steps to get there each day. And I suppose a big learning that for me was that I don't always have to be at the end goal. It's the process in between. And I probably would have said I'm very impatient. I would want to get from 0 to 100, immediately, and realizing now that actually the journey is the process in between.
And for you, I mean, how does it fit into today's world, do you think?
Well, today I think we're living in a world where none of us have ever been before. We're living in a world where probably a lot of us are a little bit scared. We're afraid for our families. We're afraid for our future, financially, emotionally. And when we're afraid, I suppose our abilities to rationalize thought and think in a way that we would generally do is impaired a little bit. So I think that the strategies that I've given and other people have given in the book will maybe help you to rationalize your thought processes and give you strategies to think of ways out of your situation that are positive and not, I suppose, maybe detrimental to yourself or your well-being, because we are in the most strangest world, and probably the strangest we will know in our lifetime. But I think if you can shore up that bit of safety, I'm really into this bit because Maslow talks about the hierarchy of needs, and the bottom of that is feeling safe. And if we don't feel safe, everything else in our life isn't okay. So if you can build up that foundation of safety again, and through some of the work that I have done, I've been able to do that for myself, then you are in a much better place. The people you meet will feel better from having met you, and your family will feel better, the people you work with. So it will have a ripple effect on a pond, kind of like. So I think it's a really powerful book. I think it's absolutely relevant to now because people are just in such a strange world.
No, I think it's so true, and I love that ripple effect. It is just making a small change every day. It's that alone is becomes massive, right? Because it's not always just such an easy instant change either. Things do take time to adjust.
100%. And I would also say there's days I thought, oh my God, this is just too hard. How about I go back to where I started? And then I realized actually that wasn't easy either. So there's a recognition that actually change is difficult. Change is a bit frightening, and very, very uncomfortable, but actually so worth it.
So how do you feel now? You've hit, and you are an author, and all going to plan. It will be a well-selling and hopefully best-selling author.
Honestly, I've got to say I'm so chuffed that I've written this book. I am very clear my life purpose is to help and heal people, and I suppose I feel this is one part that can happen. So if I can help one person and make a difference in their life, that is amazing. And I'm delighted that goal I wrote down is coming to fruition. And I suppose I never believed I would be able to write anything. I had that very unhealthy belief in myself, and to think that I have written a chapter in a book is absolutely amazing.
Well done, you. You can tell the pride is there, and it's awesome to see it. So well done. So tell us, what's the call to action here? What message do people need to take away, and what's the next steps?
Well, I suppose there's a part of this that, yes, it's amazing for me and everybody else that's in the book, but there's also a bit about this book that our pre-sales are for the most amazing charity across Ireland that helps families repatriate loved ones. And so that's the pre-sale profits go to the Kevin Bell Repatriation Trust. So this is not about my pride, or this is not about, of course, I'm very proud of the piece of work I've done. But for me, this is about, guys, can we support this charity? This charity has been working for 7 years out of their own tragedy. They have helped now at this stage over 900 families bring back loved ones to this island, both north and south. There's no divide in it. So my call to action is buy this book to help for the charity, but also buy this book because there will be a story in it. There's 20 people's stories, including then the Donna and John Boyle, and there will be something in there that will help you. It may not be my story, it may be somebody else's. Buy it for your loved ones, the people around you, because at this time we all need that lift.
Joan, you couldn't have said it better. That's absolutely awesome. And we're gonna put your link below the video here as well, so people can actually be able to follow that up and take that forward. So listen, I congratulate you on hitting your goal. Thank you for coming on and sharing that, and I wish you all the best, and until the next one. Thank you very much.
Oh, Thank you so much, Pete, for having.